Hello everybody! So this clip is an excerpt from my new course, Mixing Cinematic Music. So if you like what you see and you want to see more, please check it out in the description of the video. Thanks and see ya! So probably the most common one is actually making the mix worse than if it wasn't mixed by EQing too much. So that's what beginners tend to do. They get excited about EQ, that they can change the color of the sound, and they just over EQ. And then the sound just becomes, too clinical. Sometimes it becomes harsh, it becomes overly hyped in the highs, and they just over EQ too much. And actually, if they removed all their EQs, the default sound of the libraries would be better. So one of the reasons for that is that people sometimes trust the tonal balance control type plugins or spectrum analyzers too much, and they just try to achieve a certain curve. They just try to, or match a certain tone of a track. But what you need to understand is that every track is different. So like the ideal tonal balance for a specific composition is gonna depend on the composition 100%. For example, if I take this track here, this is how it looks like in tonal balance. And what a beginner might do is just, okay, I have way too much mids, I need to cut this, I need treble. And now they're like, oh, that sounds more exciting, great. But actually you lost all the organicness of the instruments. You lost all the nice, mood of the track. And when you come back to it on rested ears, like the brighter one actually sounds harsh and almost unnatural. And so because of that, you really need to understand that each track is going to have its sort of ideal tonal balance. And even though these tools can help noticing frequency problems, you need to be aware of certain things such as, does my composition have high elements to begin with? Is it written in a low key, low octave stuff? Or is it like really high stuff all the time? So, if you're going to have some really buzzy fortissimo brass, yes, that brass can be buzzy. But if you're going to have some warm instruments and stuff like that, there is no point in just forcing as much excitement as possible into these instruments and as much clarity as possible, because too much clarity is actually going to be bad, fatiguing, and it's just not going to sound right. So yeah, don't feel obliged to match a certain reference if that reference is too different. And don't try to just force the EQ too much.